ask that question again, please.
Okay. Joanne, how did your daughter make out with the protest against the big superhighway cutting through the community last week?
The protest went well. It was very hot out. It was at noon, around 11, 12 o'clock noon, so it was very hot. Hannah was one of possibly two children that were there, but I almost think she was the only one. The speeches that were given were excellent, but the feeling was that the powers that be are going forward regardless of what the will of the people might be. So I didn't get the sense that they were heard by the people who need to hear. But it was written up and it was on TV and it was in the newspaper. And so they spoke their truth.
Good.
And Hannah felt good about participating.
And you just never know. I was just reading something about an Alaska oil rig or oil company that after a handful, like maybe 10 people consistently protested in, I think, Seattle. And all of a sudden the company just said, okay, we're abandoning this. It was just like, they didn't see it coming at all.
Wow.
It does happen.
So persist.
Yeah, well, they are definitely persisting. And there was also, that you wouldn't have known about, there was a gathering at the home next to the cemetery, that's the African American cemetery that's being that will be negatively impacted with this. And it was like a block party, and Paula went, took Hannah, and she got to talk to all of these people who have relatives buried in the cemetery, who have lived in the neighborhood, who are part of the community. And the efforts that are being made to save this heritage site, truly, is going such a long way in the anchoring of a sense of comradeship, a sense of focused effort, a source of validation. It's really moving to see what the efforts are doing. The efforts are not lost. Even if they go through the highway and they continue, they do it, and against all of this impracticality, it won't be for naught, the efforts that have gone into it.
Exactly.
Kimberly.
Wow.
And I think it's given my daughter an opportunity to be a voice of clarity without the spotlight. She does not want to be in the spotlight, but she sees a role for herself in expressing the facts and pulling the threads together. You know, before she was ever born, I could see these traits in her father. You know, where he could take something from this and here and here and here and pull the threads together and form a thought that was substantiated by everything that he had pulled together.
Wow.
And another thing he did, he could synthesize, he could extrapolate, bring these things together, and then project. And when he was in college, there was a time when his professors were suspect, and or they suspected him of cheating. He was a very moral man, and I don't think he could have even conceived of cheating. But he said, like it says here, blah, 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 by so and so, and like it says here, da, 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 on page such and such, in such and such, by so and so, da, 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 da. This is a direction that could be gone, let's say. And they said that he was cheating because nobody could just put a quotation, I mean, say, cite several things. And this is long before computer. This is 50 years ago, you know? It is actually 50 years ago.
Half a century
Wow.
ago, the way
Wow,
it was done.
that's pretty shocking.
Yeah.
But but it is astonishing to watch this in the next generation because she has had no constant contact with her father. She barely knew him until the advent of email. So since 2005, she's about 2005, she's been in contact with him.
Wow.
But in 2005, she was already an adult, you know, she's already grown up. So she couldn't have known this and emulated it. It has to come from within. So it's been amazing to see her put in a position where all these skills come together, plus her training in civic design and environmental issues and all of that coming to the fore, and to see these qualities emanating from her.
Wow.
Where does
Really
she work
cool.
now?
Pardon me?
Where does she work?
She's the deputy director of the Sierra Club here in Maryland.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Wow.
cool. So
Very-
two things she reminds me of. One is our dear friend Harriet Stafford. who was
Ah,
just that
yes.
kind of, hello, let's talk a little bit, and could you do this? And aren't you
And all under the radar.
all
All
totally
under the radar.
no public voice at all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's one. And the other is that she took Hannah with her to
Mhm.
experience both the the protest and the relationship building
Yes.
with the people, so that it's like getting Hannah into the underbelly of the
Uh-huh.
big picture, right?
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah.
down to the roots of what this whole conversation is about, and just demonstrating that by living it. And that's the kind of story we're looking for, is people who are living these principles of the Earth Charter, right? And
Yes.
when I hear you talk about, and I'm trying to remember his name, your former
Mario.
Mario. When I hear about Mario bringing people together, it feels like our Welcome to We show.
Yeah.
Let
Right.
me bring people together and let's have a little conversation here for 90 minutes. And
Mhm.
with me, what that does is just boing, 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 how can we use these people working together? And what I'm realizing is and actually it's in this Earth Flash treasure hunt that we are now part of, that we are making ourselves available to young people through this medium as resource people. You know, find somebody. Let me, Kimberly, you didn't get to see this. I jumped the gun and showed Esther, and then Joanne saw part of it. But here's what we're doing on the Welcome to We show tonight. Introduced the Earth Flash treasure hunt on last month's, and we said that the object is to find people who bring light and life to the principles for a sustainable, just, and peaceful future. And we have the 4 pillars: respect and care for the community of life, ecological integrity, social economic justice, democracy, nonviolence, and peace. And then we bring in the stories that people have told us. And for each of these pillars, ecological integrity, there's our gang. Look at us. Look at you. Taking care of the planet. And then there's social and economic justice. We've got Jay with his climate justice, and Joanne, your story. Maybe we could even get Paula to tell her story.
Could be.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And then we have democracy, nonviolence, and peace, which is where all the education and the spirituality part goes. So we've got a bunch of people there. And so what we are developing is a way for each of us who has a climate story to be almost like a, well, as I said, a resource person that will be able to, I guess my first question is, would all of us, I'm in, would all of us be willing to be available to young people who want to hear more about our stories and be kind of a mentor for a similar project that they're working on?
Sure.
You mean like talk to the young people?
Yes, either by email or on Zoom or by phone, however it works out. But to make yourself available, yes, I'm here if you want to talk. And
About like for
About-
example, about what am I doing or what?
yeah, about the, you know, let me just show you. I didn't actually show you how this works. So on our ecological integrity, here's Kimberly Gila, who talks about elders climate action, which is probably, we need to change that, but it pops right up to.
Okay, I'm Kimberly Gila. I'm from the Northern California chapter of Elders Climate Action. And
you tell your story. And so
okay.
if somebody says, ooh, I'd love to talk with her and hear more about that, maybe she could help me to do, you know, if it's a kid in middle school or high school or college, wherever, would say, hey, could you tell me more? And could you help me? Maybe we'll get to the point where could you help me? Would you just take a look at this project, an action plan that I'm developing, and could you help me figure out how to do this a little better? Make it
So I might have to change some things.
well, you would just be like an advisor. You would give your
Okay.
thoughts. Yeah, you wouldn't be in charge of changing anything. The young people that come, or old people, it could be elders, you know, you could make
Because
yourself.
they might want to ask me, how did you write to the airline or
Exactly.
something?
Yes. Could you show me one of your letters that you wrote, you know, something like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
and
that sounds something that I could be a mentor to somebody. Hey.
yeah,
Oh,
so
that's it.
I think it would be an interesting next step. And so I wanted to try something. And how about you, Joanne? Would you feel okay
Sure.
with that role?
Mhm.
And wonderful. So I'm going to kind of mention that on the Welcome to We show tonight when we're working with the children and the youth, and mostly children tonight. Yeah, and so I wanted to show you my thought for how we would do that and ask if we are ready to go to this level, and it might take 6 weeks or 6 months to get here. But this is my thinking about where we go next with this group and bring more people in so we can do this well with a bunch of people, a bunch of young people. So let me show you. Well, I can't really show you. I have 3 breakout rooms, and I've set it up so that you can have your climate conversation as a imagined future, and you can go as far as Earth Day of next year and helping to think about actions for 1 year, or 2030 when we are going to win all those sustainable development goals, or all the way to 2050 when we've reversed global warming and we have peace on earth. Okay, all things are possible in the gardens of global unity,
Isn't
right?
that the truth? Yeah.
And so we're just going to claim it and say that's the story we're telling. So I'm going to allow each of you to choose a room. I've never tried this before, so you are helping me to understand how this works. So I named the 3 groups. It says we can choose, you can choose your own. So we're going to take, I'll have a maximum of 1 minute in each room because probably you'll be there by yourself. If you're with somebody, you can have a little tiny conversation, and then you can click the button to come back to the main room where I'll be waiting. Okay, so let's try it and see what happens. On your mark, get set, here we go.
I don't know.
You can't make a choice or you can't make it work.
No, I can't make it work. Earth Day 20. Oh, okay. So Kimberly's gone. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, do you see Earth Day 2022? Can you click on it? Do you see all 3 of them, 22, 2030, 2050? Can you
I
click on one and go and see?
That
Nothing
was,
happens.
I don't know. I've never had a breakout room look like this. It's usually a kind of a horizontal window that says, please join, and I just click on it. I've never
know.
had this where there's
I loved it. I loved it.
couldn't get in.
Because you had a choice to
Right.
where to go. The only thing is, I figured y'all were hiding because I went to all 3 and nobody was there.
I did my
Oh.
best to join, but I couldn't do it for some reason.
Oh.
Kim, try going to Earth Day 2022 because Kimberly's in there all by herself. And so tell us what's happening on your screen. You've got the box that gives
Nothing.
3 choices.
Nothing. The 3 choices are still there, and I see that Kimberly is in number 1, but that's all. I can't.
Can you click? There's no little thing that says join that room on the right.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, then
Can you
for people that happens to, I'll be in this room to stay with them.
So
I'm wondering if I went on Google Chrome, if it might be different. I'm on Firefox right now.
You want to try it?
Okay, I'll have to leave this and then rejoin the entire meeting. So
Okay,
I
so
will
I'm
see
gonna
you soon.
close all rooms, and then I can open them again when she gets back. Oh, Joanne, it says you're in 2050 right now. But here
Oh,
you are.
yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, I read in 2022.
Right.
I went there
And
too
it says you're
first.
still there.
Well,
Okay.
I left it.
I know you're here.
Oh, okay.
I can tell.
And
Uh,
I left, I was in 2022. And
I
then when
didn't
no
see
one
you.
else showed up, I said, join another one. And I went in 2030 and no one was there. And I thought, oh, this is like hide and seek. I'm going to 2050. And I went to 2050 and no one was there. So then I came back to this room. But it all worked like anything else, except on your end, I'm still there.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
And
you're,
I don't see how, I don't see,
So this is,
I
so
don't
this,
see an
yeah.
option to go back there and get out of it.
no, I don't think you need to. Yeah.
So this will be, you're thinking about the future when we have more people?
Yep.
And you will put us in break rooms.
Yes. So
But that
that,
won't happen tonight.
no,
Good. Okay.
no. This is,
But I loved the choice of going
Yeah.
to a selected breakout room. I've never had that before.
well,
Usually it says, all right, you're in breakout room 3. Do you join? All right, let's try
okay,
this again.
let's try it again. You ready?
Thanks.
On your mark, get set, go.
Oh, here we go.
Yay. Hello, I'm here.
I saw you. I see you.
Hi.
I see you.
Yay.
Hello.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah, it's really like hide and seek.
Yeah, I like that. So let's go back to the main room where Esther will join. Ta-da!
Did that work for you, Esther? I saw you go into a room.
I figured it out. Yes. So I have to click on the number on the right. I was
Yeah.
just hovering. I need to click. And then it
Oh,
says
good.
join. And then I
Great.
said yes.
Great.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank
that's
you.
interesting that Firefox would not do that, huh?
Well, I didn't try it with Firefox. I didn't know to do that. I didn't know to click on the right hand side.
Oh, okay.
It might have done it.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do next is ask you each to change your name. You know how to do that?
Yeah.
Now, before your name, I want you to type E dash, capital E dash.
How to change our name.
Do you know how to do that? If you look on your, if you hover over your own picture, and you'll see the 3 dots in the little blue box.
I don't see no 3 dots.
Well, are you hovering? Go up into,
Right. Just
Are you-
right click over your picture,
You mean
Kimberly.
like this?
Just right click your cursor over your picture.
Oh, so right click my cursor.
okay, that works. Yep.
Oh,
And
there we
see
go.
where it
Oh,
says
okay. Oh, yeah,
rename?
there we go.
Rename. And so I'm going to do mine where it says E dash Sue Blythe. And that
So
stands
just put down E, what else you said?
E dash, just E or space or something. But look how
Okay.
mine looks. E Sue Blythe. I'm an elder. E for elder.
So E dash,
Yeah.
and just leave it like that.
Yes.
E
No,
dash.
E dash and your name.
Oh, okay. I guess I didn't get it. Sorry.
I put it just before my name. But if you erased your
E-
name, retype it.
Capital E.
Oh, capital E. Okay. And then it says, remember my name for future meetings?
No,
No.
Don't ever say you can't train old dogs with new tricks, right?
You can if the old dog wants to learn.
There
And
you
I'd
go.
say we are good examples of people who want to learn.
And I've said that many times in my ballroom dancing class.
Especially
Because
because I'm
sometimes
not
somebody
tech
will say,
savvy.
I can't, I am an old dog. I can't, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. If the old dog wants to learn, oh, yes, you can.
And
That's
by the
right.
way, what we're doing here is preventing Alzheimer's.
Correct.
Yes.
The more you learn, the less chance you have of letting go all of that.
And get your heart rate up 3 times a week for more than half an hour.
Yeah. I went swimming yesterday for 45 minutes for the
Nice.
first time in a lifetime, practically.
Wow.
Yeah, good for you. So
Look how much
Esther,
trouble I had with the Google Sheets. Remember how much trouble I had?
yeah, and we decide you don't need to learn every new trick.
No.
You can choose your new tricks. Yeah.
Um,
So the reason I wanted you to do this is that I would then ask the children to identify themselves with a C before their name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
that
then
makes sense.
if they go in, or the youth with a Y, and then when you choose your room that you want to go into, you can see who's already there. So we might say, okay, children, you go first and choose your room. Okay, youth, you go next. And elders, let's go in to support them. It's kind of
Yeah, rather than all C's get together and all E's get together and all Y's. Yeah, I like that very much, Sue.
yeah.
Very much.
So
I've never
we
seen breakout rooms like this. So this is a really good experience.
yeah, great. I'm very thrilled that I can do it.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's the way we want to organize this. And when we play, my vision is that as we get into the schools, and I do have a meeting this afternoon with the people who are building our game in Minecraft, right? And we'll have
Yeah.
the treasure hunt built into the Minecraft game. And they have to go out of the Minecraft into the real world, starting with their own families and friends to get their stories, submit them in our form, which I wanted to look at again for imagined future stories, right? And so they would come together in these breakout rooms and have a little consultation about what do we want to say? What does our team want to say about what you would like to see, what we would like to see in the year 2022 for Earth Day, right? And I'm going to put out the idea that we're doing a musical play.
Okay.
And how would that look, and what do we need to do? What's our action plan to get from here to there? And then I'm going to go for the 2030 people. And actually, the way to do this, I'm just thinking, might be to put the kids in the room with some kind of a conversation starter so that they can have their own little conversation among themselves before the adults get there. Oh, this is what I envisioned at the Sustainable Living Center, where we had my little house was going to be a place where the kids did exactly this and had their conversation. And in the big, it was called the Peace Education Center, is where the adults and elders would be learning how to support the children. And then the children would come and they're telling the story of the Global Warming Express. And I want to tell you that this story by an 11-year-old girl gets, the animals are saying, oh my gosh, our world is changing. And they go and they say, you know, humans, you got to help us. And they come to these two little girls who are 11 years old. And they get on the Global Warming Express to take a message all the way to President Obama. And so that's the story we tell. Well, what's happened since that girl wrote that? Her name is Marina Weber. Since Marina wrote that story, we've had a lot of history under our belts. And that story needs to be told. And we put that in our storytelling adventure. But and told by the kids, you know, it's like we were asking them to do the writing or the telling or the acting out in a skit or singing something to bring that story to life about what's happened since President Obama went to Paris, right? And then they come through to the present day, and the Global Warming Express youth program trains kids to understand the science and be able to express themselves through the arts and to give presentations, to give speeches to city commissions, to go, you know, just like if Hannah had been through this program, she might be there with her friends doing a presentation for all of those people who are the decision makers on this. And it could, you know, it often changes minds and hearts to have the children saying it and acting it out through the arts, right? So
FYI,
that's where we're headed.
The Global Warming Express and 5 other books, I just finished translating them into French.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
And,
right,
and
we
they,
forgot.
yes, and they have now gone to a native French speaker for her input
Beautiful.
to like polish and adjust and tweak and stuff like that.
I
So
forgot all about that part.
yeah, and they will be Sam Poole. Do you know Sam Poole at all? Okay, he is the technical guy who is designing an app so that they will be put onto this app in written form, and then a native French speaker is going to be reading them so that people can hear and read at the
Nice.
same time, and then they will go into the schools.
Awesome.
Wow. Beautiful.
And it will be free to schools because I didn't charge anything, of course, and Joe and Marina didn't charge anything, and the translator, the native French speaker, is not charging anything. So there's only the costs of the book to be published, and I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah. And so is that the curriculum itself or just the story itself?
Stories. They didn't ask me to do the curriculum. That may be coming, or maybe they will ask Esha, is the French speaker's name. Maybe they'll ask her to do that or something, but yeah,
So
it's all good.
let me tell you something that I experienced. Actually, I didn't go live, but I watched part of the recording of a program. Actually, it came, Kimberly, from the NorCal of the Elders
Yes.
Climate Action, that there was a UN conference of young people, or it's
Yes.
UN NGOs, right?
Was this last week?
Yes. Did you go?
Yes, with Todd Weber.
Yes, I think so. I
It
don't.
was on the WebEx, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah. So tell us a little about that.
It was about young people from all over the world, from South Africa, India, United States, talking about what they're doing in their communities about climate change, whether it's farming or being an advocacy for the legislature or speaking for change. It was quite interesting.
And something that I loved about it is that they had simultaneous translation, so that
Yes,
you could have the subtitles in any one of 110 languages, I believe.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so
It
we're
was,
in
it was,
it. We're in the
it was
global
2 hours.
society. Yeah, it was a 2-hour thing. So where I see this going, oh, Lordy, Lordy. When we get to January on our road to 2030, we are going to be celebrating Martin Luther King Month with the Compassion Games. And this will be the 3rd year that we've done that, We the World, and you know, supporting this much larger effort of the Compassion Games. And I want to have a lot of kids and a lot of people in the community working through the interfaith community to build the beloved community choir that's going to be singing whatever songs they are already singing in their churches and synagogues and wherever, that we want to share. And Joanne, this kind of is based on that Holy Year event in 1992 that we
Yeah,
did at the Women's Club in Gainesville, where we
I
had,
remember it.
why don't you describe that a little bit?
Oh my gosh. Well, 1992 was, we called it the Holy Year because it was the 100th year from the ascension of Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i faith. And we were charged with doing a celebration the likes of which we had never done before. And so a very, very small group of a couple people started to envision what that might look like. And then the entire Baha'i community was invited to consult on what might it look like Sue is doing. You know, this is what I'd like to see, but what might it look like? And we came down to a celebration of the essential oneness of humankind.
Oh, yeah.
That was all. And so in Gainesville, in order to get an essential representation of humankind, we had to do outreach to every kind of group possible, but also had to do some kind of auditions because it couldn't just go on for days and days. It had to be limited to its time and breadth, and trying to find a facility to have an event, and then trying to figure out how to get people to come to it. Well, all of that was figured out, and incredible effort was put in. And there was a program that included a devotional component and the most beautiful, beautiful performances of ethnic, cultural artistry that you can imagine. Children and adults. And then there was the food element. So there was this kind of a 3-pronged approach. And I think we had to limit it to something like 250, 350 tickets, but you didn't charge, people didn't have to buy the tickets. It was this celebration. And it was so memorable on all accounts. However, the one thing that stands out to me the most is asking people to get involved. And we came up with something incredibly successful. And that was identifying people by how we knew them.
Oh,
And saying, would you do X? And The idea was to find an X for every single individual that we wanted to have participate in the planning and execution, not the performers. That was another prong. But was the approach of how can we make everybody feel like they're part of this and therefore want to be involved, right? And it only worked because of personal direct invitation to individuals. But people came out of the woodwork, people that we hadn't seen in a long time, but they seemed to be amenable to doing whatever the X was because it was time limited, focused, and measurable. So you didn't ask for all that, Sue, but that's.
Oh, but that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because that's what we're gonna be doing between now and April of 2022 and April of 2030 and April of 2050. Can you be
Right.
part of this, please? Will you?
Um,
I think of you as doing this. Does that sound like something you could,
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
or is there something that you would rather do? You know what I remember my commitment? I went to
No.
I went to a couple of planning meetings and it felt too big to me. I remember that. It just felt, whoa. And they said, well, can you pray for this? I said, yes, every day. And I did. And
And
so,
it made you feel as essential to the process as anybody else, but within a framework that you could handle.
yep.
And can I show you a very specific example of what we're just talking about?
Please.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to show it on your computer. I sent you an email a few minutes ago saying check out this YouTube video.
Okay, let me pull that up.
Your Sue Blythe account.
Okay. They're
And
all
I'd like to give you a little background to it. Do you see it?
coming down. Yes.
Okay.
I have good news today. I put together a video.
Yeah, the
Okay.
video link is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
I'm gonna share my screen. And
before you start the video, I want to just give you a little bit of an overview. Hana decided she wanted to learn Japanese, and she's the one that started in on Duolingo, learning Japanese online, and then she hooked me up 114 days ago to learning Hebrew on Duolingo, and I've been doing it for 114 days. But a Jewish friend and neighbor across the street, kitty corner, has a friend who is Japanese, and she told her Japanese friend about Hana's interest, and the Japanese friend said, "Oh, I would love to mentor this child in Japanese, but I teach origami, and could I do a session with your granddaughter?" And so we arranged it so that when Naoko came to Lucy's house, she would come over and meet Hana, do some origami with Hana, and some Japanese. Well, it worked out well. And Naoko said, "Hana, I would love to videotape you so that other children can learn from you how to do origami." So she came last week and set it all up and told Hana, how she wanted her to do it. So Hana, with her own creativity, had ideas too. And this is the video that Naoko did. And of course, Hana's parents had to give permission. But you don't have to show the whole clip because it's 8 minutes. But would you just show a little bit of it?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, this is Naoko. I hope you enjoyed the origami rap song video Folded. Today, my friend Hana is going to teach you how to fold a dog face and a cat face. After she finishes, you will see the diagrams showing how to fold too. There are few different ways to fold the dog and cat faces, so you follow as you like and create your own dog and cat faces. Enjoy!
Konnichiwa, or hello, my name is Hana. I will be teaching you how to make an origami dog, aka Inu, which is also known as, and then a cat called a neko.
So Hana, you know Japanese. How come?
Because I was pursued by my parents having been learning when I was Japanese when I was born. That is how I have a Japanese name, Hana.
Wow! So how old are you?
I am 9 years old.
Where do you live?
I live in Silver Spring, Maryland,
Wow!
with a brother, a sister, a dad, and a mom.
Great! So I look forward to your lesson today. Can you start?
Absolutely. You won't need a glue stick, but it's an optional thing. You will need paper and scissors though. But marker is also optional. It'll be for something fun at the end. I'll give you a heads up. Anyways, you begin with the paper. Now, you want to get it perfectly aligned and have it right at the tippy corner.
Okay, that's enough, Sue.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Just perfect. I love it. I love it.
Yes, beautiful.
Joanne, once in a while, I looked at your face and you were just glowing.
So proud. Let me just say too that my granddaughter Elia in the Galapagos Islands heard my story about the 1,000 cranes that we folded at her mother's elementary school, right?
Yeah.
To go with the story of Sadako and the 1,000 cranes about, I will write peace on your wings and you will fly all over the world. And so I told all of my grandchildren, or 4 of my grandchildren, the story of the parents, their parents in the school, elementary school. And my granddaughter, who at that time was 9 years old, said that she wanted to fold 1,000 cranes. And she started, and I got into 200 and something, I think, before she wound down. But she sent a video of how to do it. She sent a video of the pile of 200 cranes on the table. And so we can start a little origami session, you know, it's kind of like when we play this Minecraft Earth Charter game and you come to a place where there's a little symbol that'll take you, okay, now stop playing the Minecraft game, go out into the world probably on a different page on your computer, but it would have all the different little clues, right? So they're going to be a clue that you get in the Minecraft game. You have to take it over to this page, click on that clue, and it'll take you to another world. And I would love to have an origami world where kids teach how to do this.
Yeah.
And so we already have 2, maybe 3 videos to go on in the origami world. And yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it. It just bounces all around, and it bounces to different. We'll start the storytelling of, you know, this is my concern, and this is, if you watch the Welcome to We show tonight, we're using it's called An Urgent Message from Your Children.
Mhm.
And it is asking kids, you know, so what's your concern and what do you want to see happen? And So we've got 3 kids. Hannah is 1. And so they'll be doing that. And I want them to see themselves as part of that Earth Flash treasure hunt. We'll try to put their own stories and their parents and grandparents' stories into our little treasure hunt control board. We're trying to think of everything as a control board because we want to go up and take our the collaborative storytelling adventure. We're going to take the kids up into a space station, and they're going to have the control panel of the En-ROADS being able to say, okay, here's what's happening in Gainesville, Florida. Here's what's happening in Silver Spring, Maryland. And here's how we can adjust the levers on this thing. And oh my gosh, look at what's happening. And be able to have middle school kids in charge of that. Okay.
Well, that's the focusing, the target, the request. Is this something we'd like? We think you can do this. Is this something you're willing to do? That kind of approach.
And I'm going to be talking later this afternoon with 4, maybe 5. Actually, there'll be 6 total middle school technology teachers who have either agreed or will be told when they come into their new job, we are doing this year, and we are building the Earth Charter game in Minecraft, and it's going to be part of a community-wide climate conversation to action program.
Fabulous.
I have a question about the cranes.
Yes.
When the cranes are fly out with peace, how do we do that? Do we put them in an envelope and mail them off to somebody, or how?
Let me tell you our story that we
Okay.
did at Stanley Switlick Elementary School. So a friend, actually I came back from a women's peace conference called Global Peace from Vision to Reality. And there I learned about peace education as something that people are doing in school.
It's just adorable. I hope I can take a couple pictures.
Let me mute her. Hold on.
Did you? Okay.
Okay, she's done. So we had
Say are not doing or are doing?
that people
In
are
school.
doing in school. So I got a whole bunch of programs, and that's what I'm still doing, is trying to share these programs, right? And so one of them was about conflict resolution. Another one was about storytelling through puppetry. Another was on music. Another, just one beautiful, beautiful workshop after another. And so I came back and I put an ad in the paper and said, who would like to teach peace in the schools? And I got one lady who responded. And we put together a puppet show of Sadako and the Thousand Cranes with the help of my oldest daughter, who was at that time in 5th grade. And so we had a little, refrigerator box puppets and puppet stage, and we made the puppets with ping pong ball heads and fabric bodies. And we acted out. Oh, and Carrie wrapped up in my kimono that my mother sent from Hong Kong, and she was the narrator of our story of Sadako and the Thousand Cranes. And we told this story, and the art teacher said, yes, I will teach the kids to fold these paper cranes. And she did in one art class after another. And we had 1,000 cranes before you knew it. And we did them all white. And we used blue bulletin board cover paper, and designed these beautiful bulletin boards with all of these cranes all over 2 buildings in this elementary school. And then we had at the Christmas time PTA meeting, an international dinner and show. And we acted out the puppet show, and the kids showcased all of their things. And that's as far as we had planned. After Christmas vacation, the kids came back and said, now what? You know? And I said, I don't know. What should we do? Well, let's take them places. Let's sing songs. Let's do this and that. And so I just followed the kids' lead. And they took it out into the community. We took bouquets and went and sang songs to every place that was within walking distance. And it was just a wonderful experience. And as we're in the middle of this, a friend of mine came and said, I'm getting an exchange student, but it wasn't an exchange, a foreign student coming to live with me and go to school here. And I have two people. I have to choose between this one from Germany and this one from Japan. And I thought, oh, what an interesting combination. And so I looked at the two applications, and the one from Japan, her father worked at Hiroshima University.
Wow.
And so I wrote to them and said, would you please deliver our cranes, paper cranes, to Sadako's monument in Hiroshima Peace Park? And they said, yes, absolutely. So there's another example. Could you do this? Right? And so this girl came back the next year, or came the next fall, and showed us pictures of delivering all of that to Sadako's monument. And oh my gosh, what an impact that had. And that is where I said, and I was getting ready, I was going through a divorce at the time, and said, so let me reach out and see who's doing what with peace education in other parts of Florida. And Joanne Schwandes sent me back a packet of things that she was doing for peace education in her English as a second language class.
Yeah.
And so I moved to Gainesville, and we started doing peace education in many different ways. And I feel like this Holy Year event was a prime example of peace education as a community-wide collaboration, right? What a story. What a story we told that year. And so I am kind of recreating that in this community-wide climate conversation, helping people like the Minecraft kids and the digital storytelling people at the school board. Could you do this? And they're saying yes, yes. And so I am envisioning for Martin Luther King month that we will have a beloved community choir of kids singing, people of all ages singing the songs from their own wisdom traditions, we're calling them, whether it's the religions or indigenous groups. Everybody has these prophecies of the time when we'll live in peace. So let's just say it's time. Let's do this. And that's our story that we're telling. And one of the tools that we're using is called and I'll send this to you, it's the World House Community Project, I think they call it. And the man at the University of Florida wrote a World House trumpet concerto that has been performed. It's a partnership with the Morehouse College Martin Luther King Center. And they have a glee club that sings all these songs that he wrote, and and then he's got the orchestral part all laid out, the singing that different age groups do, and it's just laid out ready to do in January. So we're just going to say who will help us do this, and so by doing that and doing the whole climate justice conversation in January, then we're ready to celebrate with our musical in Earth Day in April.
I hope I hope you have Carrie McCord somewhere on your list of people to contact.
Well, you said that once before, and I reached out on Facebook and never heard anything back. Do you have an email?
Nope, nope, I don't.
Can you go through your networks and see if you can reach him?
I'll see if I can find them. Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, so that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And thanks for being part of it. And won't we have fun when we get all these generations working together in our little breakout rooms
Thank you.
their E's and C's and Y's and A's. And you'll have, is there a word we can spell with that? Carrie? C-A-R-Y. See if
I'm writing it down.
Okay. Carrie is my daughter's name, and I used to spell it C-A-R-E-Y. When she was born, her real name is Carolyn, and I called her Care Bear, you know. And
You know, that's interesting because Hannah's little brother's name is Kieran, and they call him Kier Bear.
yeah, and when Carrie got to 5th grade, which is about the time she was doing this puppet show, she decided, she met somebody, a boy named Carrie, spelled the same way, and she said, I'm now, from now on, I am K-E-R-I, and she still is to this day. So, all right, my friends, I think that's plenty for today. I thank you for playing with me and for being part of this crazy
Really
story.
good. Really good. All right. Talk to you soon.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that on Saturday, Shay and I and Maya, Hannah's sister, we are driving to Florida.
Oh,
Wow.
but you're not coming to Gainesville, I remember.
We might be coming to Gainesville for a couple of hours.
Okay.
But on Saturday, we're not. Saturday, we're going to Jacksonville. And then I'll be in Jacksonville for a couple of days. And then Shay and I and Hassan will be driving to Orlando through Gainesville
Okay.
on either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I don't know yet when.
Well, you'll be.
So I don't know.
Let me just love you online. And
That's right. Yeah, I think that works. That works.
Yeah.
So you're going on a road trip.
Yep, we're going on a long road trip. Yeah.
How long is the drive from Maryland to Florida?
To that part of Florida, about 12, 13 hours.
But you're gonna spend the night somewhere in a hotel or something?
No, we're gonna drive. We're gonna leave at 6 a.m. and hopefully get there by 6 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah,
So this
but
is
I don't do the driving. That's Shay, not me. I get in a car and I fall asleep.
so this is a family vacation?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm not, I may or may not join you depending on what is going on the day on Tuesdays, okay? So if you don't see me for a couple weeks, it doesn't mean that I have forgotten you. It just means that I'm on a different planet.
Okay. Well, we love you and safe travels.
Well,
Yes,
safe
very
travel.
much.
Yes, traveling
you.
mercies.
You're gonna be on the Reed show later on, aren't you, ladies?
Yeah, Joanne and I are.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
today,
yeah,
yes.
Joanne's on there. Yeah, that's right.
Today.
With the granddaughter. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll see you later.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.